Hi everyone, today I'd like to talk about the new Estee Lauder collection which is currently on counters. It's called the Wild Violet collection. It's not a massive collection, but there's a palette. It's very similar to the Extravagant Gold palette. It's got all of those neutrals in there, perhaps slightly less warm tone than the Extravagant Gold palette, but then in the centre it's got a really lovely purple, really deep and rich, very nice palette, but it is quite shimmery. When I went to the counter I also saw the blue pencil which is called Exotic Violet or something or other violet. I'll put all the details below or in a blog post. But the pencil was very blue on me. Also something which I'm going to mention quickly before I start off on the other things. Not part of the collection. This is part of their permanent collection, and I just thought I'd mention it because I think I've mentioned these before. It's Estee Lauder double wear shadow creams, and they're just like MAC paint pods, except the packaging is a lot better, a lot more airtight. I think you get the same amount, 5 grams. And I hear they're made in the same factory, but I'm not sure. And this one is 01 Pink Blush, and I got this because I really like MAC Discontinued Paint Pot in Girl Friendly. This is not like Girl Friendly, it's a lot more peach, and it doesn't look that good by itself on me, but these make such excellent bases. They don't crease and they go on really smoothly, and your shadows go on really nicely. So if you've not checked these out, when they first launched they had some really fabulous colours, sadly discontinued. Hopefully they'll bring out more fun shades, but they do have an extensive range, and they've got a wonderful navy shade and some coppery shades. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that, so that's that one. They're priced around £15 mark. Estee Lauder have also brought out some new mascaras called Sumptuous Extreme. And this one is the blue one, or indigo as it's called. I don't know if this is part of the collection, but I'm sure this is limited edition. Not long ago Estee Lauder came out with some coloured mascaras and they sold out really fast, so I suggest you look into these before they sell out because they're always popular. And I was really impressed with this one because it actually does show up blue on me. I don't have very dark eyelashes, it must be said, but usually these coloured mascaras, only the tips show up the colour in the light. But this really did show up and I really enjoyed it. It was very buildable and a really good mascara, so I love that. I've not tried this one yet. This is the black one, and this is the same thing, Sumptuous Extreme, but in 01. And I will let you know as soon as I've tried that, but assuming it's the same, I will really like that. The indigo version of this, which I've tried so far, very lengthening, and with a few coats it was actually quite volumizing too, so this looks very promising, and it's called Blush Multiplying Volume Mascara, so I suppose that makes sense. It really does seem to work. We're coming to the Wild Violet collection. There are several new lipstick shades. I'll start with Wild Blossom, and see the packaging is really clever because you can see what colour you're about to pick up. And this one is a lovely pink, and all of these are very moisturising. They have a slight fig scent, but I really don't mind it at all. In fact, I quite like it. I find it not half as invasive as the MAC Vanilla scent, so it's a very light scent and it shouldn't really bother anyone. But I can imagine it being a somewhat more acquired taste. But anyway, it's very smooth, very pigmented. On my quite naturally dark lips, I do need to layer this about twice, but once I do, it gives opaque coverage, and it's a really nice shade. Very delicate peachy pink. And these all have a lovely satin finish to them, so quite matte but with a slight, very understated sheen. The next one, which I absolutely adore, is called Wild Coral, and I knew I would love this because Carla Sugar from the famous Swatch blog which you're probably all familiar with, mentioned that this was similar to Lancome's Kiss and Tell, which I went through hell and high water to try and get and didn't get. So when I saw this, I was really excited because it does seem to be a very convincing dupe, and it looks absolutely beautiful in the barrel. True coral, and I'll just swatch it. A really lovely soft orangey coral, really flattering for anyone. Then there's this one which I absolutely love as well. This one is called Wildfire, and this one is a red coral, very similar to MAC limited edition from Miss Villains called Toxic Tail, which I think was quite popular, and it's a really nice reddish coral, and this has got a much better texture than Toxic Tail, which is much more dense, and this one is much more wearable and more grown up, I would say. It's very buildable, so you can either have just a wash of red orange, or you can really build it up, but it'll never go neon or anything garish. So I'll swatch that. So as you can see, it's just slightly deeper than Wild Coral. Finally, there's the one which I'm wearing on my lips right now, and I think this is so flattering. Berry lips just look really good on everyone, I think. This one is called Wild Violet. I've been wearing this for going on now 5 hours, and it's just not faded at all. A true berry shade. And all of these, as you can see, that was one swipe. Very creamy, very even, really coats your lips in one coat for most of them. The only one which personally with pigmented lips I had to build up was the Wild Blossom. All the others, just one swipe and you get that full colour. So absolutely beautiful and perfect for pale skins, but also these shades just so classic and so flattering that whatever shade you are, I think these would look good. Very excitingly, all of these come with matching glosses, and these are quite distinctive glosses. Gelée, I think is how you would pronounce it. I'm going to put the corresponding shade to the one I have on now, and it's called Electric Violet, and the applicator is a sponge tip applicator, but the best thing about these is that they're not sticky in the least, in fact quite the opposite. Very moisturising, very glossy, but not sticky. It does mean they don't last as long, but whilst they're on, they make your lips look about 4 times bigger. So I'll just put some on. So hopefully you can see that's just with one layer you can build these up. They are somewhat pigmented, but as I say, I've got quite dark lips naturally, so it's hard for me to judge. So on me they look quite sheer by themselves. There are these two which initially I thought looked very similar, but on lips they look really different. This one's called Electric Pink, this one is called Electric Cherry. So Electric Pink definitely goes on a lot more pink than it looks in the tube, and this one goes on a true vivid coral, really flattering, and especially when you layer them with the lipsticks, they're just amazing. And finally, which also looks somewhat similar, this is Electric Coral, but this one goes on really wonderfully coral, and they do look different on the lips. I'm not sure you'll need all three, but they do go on differently, and they are absolutely marvellous texture and really do make my lips look a lot fuller, so I recommend them a lot. So I'll just swatch them all so that you can see them. Take a photograph and put it on my blog, but just to give you some idea of how they go on. They are quite sheer, but they definitely animate the lipsticks, which are quite matte really in comparison. So I hope that helped. I really love all the lip products from this collection, as you can imagine, and I really like the mascara so far, so I will update you on that. I hope you get a chance to look at the collection because it's one not to be missed, and I'm sure it's going to do very well. That was Estee Lauder Wild Violet collection. Thanks for watching and keep well. All the best. Bye.